Hey guys, welcome back to our channel, Say What with James and Lakesia, and we are redoing our review for the movie Sinners. We already did it, however, we had a little person that was very loud in the background, so we just remade the movie review. And now we have a supernatural horror film, we have deep family ties, music, racism, and redemption, and vampires. So make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, and don't watch this review until after you saw the movie, because there will definitely be some spoilers. So let's tag team this plot. So we have the 1930s Delta setting. We have the twin brothers. Hey, I got a question. Did Michael B. Jordan get paid twice for doing two roles? Just like Robert De Niro in Alto Nights. So we have blues music, supernatural elements. So the brothers are
smoking stack.
They're two Army vets. I didn't even know they were really in the military, but they were part of the mob as well.
Yeah, they work for Al Capone.
And they're gonna launch this juke joint. However,
back in Delta.
However, we have this vampire threat, and what happens is the brothers get back to
Delta, Mississippi,
and they go get their cousin.
Sammie.
Yes, the story starts out with Sammie going back to his dad's church. Sammie's toe up. He just has a piece of his guitar, so he goes back to his dad's church, and then he starts recounting what happened. So we have the brothers smoking stack, and I keep getting them mixed up, so James is gonna have to help me keep them straight. But we have the two brothers. They split up. Sammie goes with who?
Stack. Sammie with Stack.
And Smoke
was going to look for some talent for that night.
Yes. So Smoke takes the truck, which is filled with the booze, the beer, and the whatever else they had on there. He goes to get the food, he goes to get the help, and he goes to get some signs to
talk to his old friend Bo, Chinese gentleman, and his wife.
And he also, I can't remember, was it before he went to the to go get them, or after that he went to his baby's grave?
That was out.
Okay, so he goes to get all that, and he pays a little girl to come to
watch
the truck.
The truck.
So, Aaliyah, stop. So then we have the brother who was at the train station.
Was Sammie.
Stacks and Sammie, they go to the train station to go get Delroy Linda.
He was slim.
And he was basically a harmonica player. And he was like, look, I'm not...
piano and all that too.
But he was on the corner playing harmonica. He was like, I'm not trying to blow up what I got going on. I have a standing Saturday night set at this other club over here, and I could get all the corn whiskey I could drink.
Look at you get.
And they were like, well, we gonna pay you whatever. And when he pulled out that beer, what was it? Some type of
Irish beer.
And he had him at that. And so that's all it took. And so then he also ran into Mary.
Yeah, well, she came off
she saw him.
She seen Stacks, and Sam was like, hey, that white lady's looking at you. Who's that? He told me, she coming over here? But she knew him. They was old childhood friends.
Well, her mom
had just passed away.
Her mom had just passed away, and she helped raise them.
Yeah.
And so my only problem with Sammie is that brother had an extremely deep voice. It was like Kane Brown deep for no reason. But then when he sang, it was just as deep. It was like Blue from the Temptations. But anyway, so they all they get in the car and they're going back to the juke joint. And we have
Smoke. That time Smoke was looking at his grave of
his baby's grave, and spending time with his baby's mama. And
which was a root worker.
We forgot to mention that the older white gentleman that had met them to sell them the juke
Oh, in the
joint.
beginning,
We
yeah.
felt like it was a little bit
Yeah,
like
he
some
was a-
sinister
he was
stuff
a
going on
Klansman.
there, but he claimed that it wasn't. But meanwhile, we have the gentleman that was the vampire, Remmick, running to these two white people's houses, and he's being chased by Indians.
The white guy that was in the house was the nephew of the guy who sold it to him.
He's being chased by Indians. He's being chased by the Indians, and they let him come into the house. He has some gold. That's all it takes, a little piece of gold.
And he was a vampire.
You have to invite him in.
And plus it was getting dark, so the Indians, they was like, well, we run out of time, so they just left.
They left. And so they were like, he wasn't there. So then we go to the juke joint, and while everybody's setting everything up, the Chinese people have bought the Asian people have bought the food and
the signs and everything.
And
his wife made the signs. Well, Smoke's girlfriend, what was her name? The root worker. She had said that sometimes music and singing can bring the past to life and also the future, but it also could bring in evil.
Well, basically,
that's
but anyway, I'm not giving a root worker or any root witchcraft stuff any credit, but we do know that spirits are influenced by music. Because the theme was you had the blues music, spiritual power, healing versus haunting. We had vampirism as a metaphor. We had the racial oppression, immortality, and freedom. Because when they were playing the music, you could see it was like going through the generations. It was going back here. It was like Andre 3000 was up in there. It was just crazy. And to me, the film just took. It was like a whole hour before we got any action. I'm sitting there looking at my watch like, what's going on, you know? But we had the family trauma and the redemption. And basically, it just had a whole bunch of things I thought could have been left out. Like when, which one went to go see Annie?
Smoke.
When he went to go see I need to see all that. And then, but sinners are going to do what sinners do. But then we had, the lady that came to the club to meet Sammie, which told him she was married, but I guess that didn't matter later on that night. But
she was at the train station. Well,
yeah,
and she could sing too, so that's one reason he had heard about her, and he was like, and she came.
But so then you have Remmick and the people he's turned, and they come to the door and they trying to get in, and they're like, hey, we heard that there's a party here, we want to get in here. And the song that they was playing, it was like Howdy Doody or something, I don't know, but those jokers was harmonizing though.
They didn't want the white folk there because they didn't want no trouble with them going and telling them that they got this juke joint and the Klan or something coming, so they want problems like that.
But they said, but she's in there, and they was like, oh, but she's family.
Yeah.
So then they just stood outside, and they was howdy doody and out there.
And then Mary was like, well, hey, we can make this money. Let's see if we can make this money.
I know y'all gonna need the money because of what happened. I know y'all robbed some people in Chicago. If you put your arms there, you're gonna move the table. So she went out there to go talk to them, but they weren't giving up the goods. They were still acting crazy. So you never turn your back on people because something happened. And she pulled out.
Reading what he was talking about. Yeah, I know your mother's died. I can make things better for you and stuff like that.
But it's like he went to try to attack her or something, and she pulled out the gun, her gun, but then you never turn your back on somebody when you walking away, and she was done. So she got then she came back to the club.
Cornbread was the bouncer.
Cornbread, the one that had originally said, hey, I got it. They were out there, was it picking cotton or something? Mm-hmm. But when his wife found out how much money that he could make that night with them, she sent him on. But he was at the door, and so he let her back in.
She said, the Cornbread, you gonna let me in? And that's the invitation. He let her in.
And she goes in the back with which one?
The Stacks, because she her and Stacks had They had some things going on before.
And so she ends up attacking him, and then, you know, when they find out what's happening, she runs out. Then Delroy, well, I can't remember his name.
Smoke shot her. You remember when he came in, he had shot her, but
you can't shoot a vampire though. So she ran
I
out.
didn't know she was a vampire.
And Delroy,
something was up when she got up and started running, like you said, though.
And Delroy sent everybody out. Everybody gotta go. So we're gonna send them all out to get eaten by these other vampires that's out here. So half of the club,
you know that was gonna happen.
Half of the club, but if it's danger out, how do you think she got it? Half of the club is turned now. So
and
then
Bo had left also.
He went to go get the car, but Bo wasn't coming back. So then, oh boy, Cornbread, he had to go pee, and he had Delroy on the door.
At the door.
And he, of course, he gets turned, and then he's like, well, can I come back in? They're like, you've been on the door all night. Why you here? And so then, who got bit? Stack or one of the one?
Stacks got bit by Mary.
They had him locked in the room because the brother couldn't believe he was gone, and when he started breaking down that door, he just bolted out too. But it was just crazy. Then they were outside. Were they outside singing too? All of them was.
And then they came.
Because the Asian lady.
Yeah, because they were saying, hey, we got.
She had to protect her child. Yeah. She was trying to protect her daughter. So they she ended up inviting them all in. It was an all-out war.
Come on in then.
I hate to tell y'all, she didn't make it.
It was a battle, bro. They were fighting. Well, it was kind of tight how they had Smoke and Stacks fighting each other. Well, Michael B. Jordan by playing both of them and fighting.
Yeah, because it was Smoke versus Snack, and then we just had. It was just a lot, and then you had Sammie smashing that guitar. That's why he came back at the end with just that piece. Yeah. They ended up taking Remmick out, and I thought
it was getting close to being.
I thought from like the Lost Boys and stuff like that, if you got the head vampire, then the rest turned. But I guess everybody have their own little. I guess Ryan didn't think so. Ryan Coogler's didn't think so. But at the very end, though, you had
Smoke.
No. The cousin going back to the church, and the daddy was like, "I told you, if you dance with the devil, he's gonna follow you home."
You getting part where Smoke told him, "I'm gonna stick around right here."
No, I was gonna let you tell that part.
And because the Remmick had told them that they was gonna come. They was gonna come the next morning to take this club back. That's what they do. The Klan.
But I'm just saying, I don't know where they thought that people were still gonna be partying the next day at the club, but they did come back, they got a rude awakening because oh boy was waiting for them.
But Smoke, that part on the preview where he's shooting with the Tommy gun, that's what he doing. He's lighting them up.
Yeah, he got him, and then at the very end, you had Sammie in the blues club, like years later.
He was years old. He was older because his dad told him when he did come back to the church that day that he was tore up. Well, the next day where he went through hell, and he told him, "Son, give me the guitar. Give me the guitar," but he didn't give it to him.
Yeah, and then you had him playing the guitar, and I don't even understand what they was trying to say about the rest with Annie and
they saying what happened was Stacks Smoke made a deal with Stacks that he was where they was fighting that they would leave Sammie alone, and so that's how Smoke had made it, and they didn't mess with Stacks, but they was at they went to the blues club, him and Annie.
They died in the movie. Turned into vampires was not there, but they was at the end. So yeah, I mean I heard a lot of things.
Not Annie, but Mary.
I heard a lot of things about the movie. There was a lot of things I thought could have been left out. I thought it was an okay movie. I heard great things about the movie. Then I hear you shouldn't watch this, you shouldn't watch that. Look, I know who I am. I know whose I am. But overall, I thought it was all right. What did you think about the movie?
I thought it was pretty good. I mean, people hyped it up
I thought it could have
It
definitely
made
been
me
better.
think, all right, I'm going to see this. This is going to be the best movie I saw this year so far. But, I mean, it was still good. Still probably in my top 5, top 3.
If you guys saw the movie, let us know what you thought about it. And we are going to rank the movies pretty soon here because we're coming up on the end of the month. But let us know what you thought about it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a great day.
Oops.